Welcome back to the Jerry Podcast. E3 Bethesda. All right, let's just get into it. Wow. Wow. You guys, brief thoughts. Go ahead.
Why do they even bring anything to E3?
What was that? I'm not trying to be mean, but there was about 3/4 of that, especially the first half.
That meant nothing.
Was pretty much outside one reveal. Was a complete waste of like 40 minutes of my life. And the back half was trying to like play catch up of the first half.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Let's just go into it. So it's Bethesda E3 2019.
So the first thing I want to say, right, is for whatever reason, Bethesda has this thing where like they open up with these like community videos showing we care about your feedback. We care about your feedback. Buy our mods. Our monetization sucks. Our games release like shit.
You know what it is?
But we listen to you.
You know what it is? It's one of those things that you don't have to keep saying it.
Then they did it like 3 times.
They keep trying, or they keep saying it, at this point almost just like makes you not believe it.
Yeah,
they're hitting their significant other and they're like, no, I'm not beating you. I love you. You're like,
look at the love.
Wait a minute.
Look at the love pouring out of your nose.
But as we saw from this conference, the fans love getting beaten. That's for sure.
So let me preface with this: the most obnoxious fans of any showcase we'll see this entire E3, guaranteed.
The weird thing is even if I was excited for a lot, even if I think the conference was better, wow, is it strange? It was almost like this weird, awkward religious fanaticism. It was really strange.
It was gross.
Having a ban to BlizzCon, which has also a pretty crazy level of fans. Like, WoW fans are insane. We're not as awkwardly fanatic as the Bethesda fans tonight.
Yeah, it was very off-putting and kind of already took me out of a presentation I already wasn't that into.
So, anyway, so first things first. The countdown was normal. Microsoft, their
6.
seconds were seconds.
5.
Yeah, that was Microsoft there.
8.
You know what Bethesda did? 10. 9. 8.
You know what they were counting down to? The bomb going off and their company dying.
Oh, snap. That was a good one. But, yeah, so that whole montage was just a little strange. The funny thing was, though, every time, and I'm just so I don't point this out later, every time you would hear this, like, crazy applause in the audience, and they would cut to the crowd, and it would be
the people who don't care.
Yeah, like, how did you? So this is the question. Before we go into this is the question. Did the guy who was just in charge of switching to that camera shot just really bad and never got the right people? Or was he
really just trying to show no one cares?
Or was it also just that all the people who were cheering were like Bethesda employees planted there, and they couldn't show them because people would know they're Bethesda employees? Really conspiracy theory, sure, yes. But it was really strange how you'd hear this, like, raging applause, and then every time you saw the crowd, it was like... really
I remember you pointed out that guy at the beginning of the conference in the blue shirt sitting there.
Yes, dude, at the beginning, this bigger fellow was in the conference. Everyone's all like, wow! And he's just... And that's the guy they cut to. I feel like even when Bethesda doesn't do anything awkward this time around, which they didn't really.
Not really.
They still managed to make it weird. So, alright. So, anyway, big head guy at Bethesda comes out, talks about Bethesda, etc., etc. And they announce our new Gabe Newell, our Lord and Savior, Todd Howard.
I literally have it written down. Why are we rooting for 76? Why are we cheering for Todd?
Yeah, that's about right.
Why?
It was so strange. So this is also, keep in mind, this is coming off this recent interview that just came out with Todd Howard about Fallout
That
76 on
we're
IGN.
gonna talk about, but then just decided
It was
not
people
to.
had already beaten it to death. But basically, to sum it up, Todd Howard admitted they knew Fallout 76 was going to be bad. They want to monetize Elder Scrolls games more because they don't like that they can't. And I wish I could say I was like really putting words in his mouth, but no. When you boil the argument down, this is what they're saying. And on top of it, he appreciates the criticism, and which is okay, good. But he's like thinks it was some of it was unwarranted. Strange.
No,
so this is the guy that's come out that everyone's rooting for and cheering for and loving. This dude who just came out and said pretty much everything wrong you could say as a developer in an IGN interview within the last couple weeks. So the fact that he got a standing ovation was really concerning.
Not even to mention that he comes out on stage and he's got the Fallout 76 logo and he's talking about 76. And he even brings up the fact that there was a lot of criticism and a lot of hate on their end, and he apologized. But to me, I even have it written down like almost like Trump would tweet it. Like, reaching for sympathy. Pathetic.
The joke he made,
reaching.
Yeah, the joke he
so
made was
hard.
It was awkward. It was this like awkward Fallout bombing joke, and haha, it did really badly.
Yeah,
and then people cheered for it.
But then he's like, but it's getting better, and it's because of you guys.
And then people rooted like crazily. Like, way louder than the Microsoft press conference for anything they announced.
Can we get, like, him and Gabe Newell to do, like, get a boxing match going and have them, like, beat the shit out of each other?
So strange.
Because we know Gabe...
This whole conference, I was more just like, this is, like, no wonder people say gamers are just, like, completely all over the place and we don't know what we want, because we clearly don't!
So, Todd comes out, he does his Todd thing, starts talking about 76. And then they make the awkward cut... almost unexpected, and then go straight into Elder Scrolls Blades.
Yeah, we're making Fallout 76 better.
Elder Scrolls Blades.
We have Elder Scrolls Blades to talk about.
And
what?
I'll be honest.
So
I feel like this is a theme with these notes. Elder Scrolls Blades. No one cares. Like, they didn't say anything that would have made me any more uninterested than I already was.
And people, by the way, were hyped for it. They were screaming for it, cheering for it. And yet, anybody who's watched videos on Elder Scrolls Blades knows that it is a massive pay-to-wait. It is a massive loot box game. Everything requires a microtransaction or a long time to wait. And a lot of this stuff was better or fixed or made less intrusive, which is kind of like, congratulations, you made it not horrible.
Yeah.
But it's still bad. So Elder Scrolls Blades, there's not much to say about it. It's not a very good game. It's been critically panned.
And it's coming to Switch.
And it looks so awkward. It looked so weird. And the only thing I could think of when we were talking about this, saying it to Randy, it's Infinity Blade without any of the good Infinity Blade stuff.
Yeah.
The combat looks like Infinity Blade. The actions look like Infinity Blade. But yet you're now going to transition that game to a console and expect it to transfer 1-to-1?
Not happening.
In a good way?
Ain't gonna happen.
It's a mobile game. Let's just be honest with ourselves. And it's not like a good one like a card game.
Yeah, it's
really strange. Like, imagine bringing Fallout Shelter to a console and being like, this is what you're going to do.
Well, I mean, it did come to Switch, so...
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, fuck me, right? Like, seriously.
So they do all their Elder Scrolls Blade shit. And then Todd comes back out.
Yeah.
And they go back to Fallout 76.
By the way, we weren't done with 76.
So Todd comes out for about a couple minutes, and then these two guys who have been banging their dicks against the desk for months trying to figure out why game no good, why no figure out, come out and say, we think why it no figure out.
Oh, and people cheered again for these guys.
Ridiculous amounts.
Insanely. Look, here's the thing. If you're a Fallout fan, I get it. You want 76 to be great, and you're appreciating maybe the fact that it's making strides better.
We can
to make it better.
Respect that, but
you don't cheer for them before they've done it. That's the problem. Because here's the thing. This first bit of Bethesda is seriously, they are shoveling shit into your mouth. And people are like, oh, please, more. I want more of it. It's the creepiest thing in the world.
You know, I had to look.
It's so odd.
I had to look at this camera because I wanted to see your face when you did that.
But it's so creepy. These people that were there are actually insane.
They're so fervent for anything Bethesda that they'll.
It's nuts.
Drop down and suck anyone's cock just to get any sort of information.
I want to make it clear, I'm not just a Bethesda hater. We'll get to some really good stuff. But what the hell is this?
So,
wow.
They start by saying they're announcing their first big game patch for Wastelanders. Keep in mind, every patch up to this point has just been to fix the fucking thing.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, they also apologize again.
Yeah. So this is their first content patch. It's called the Wastelanders patch. Okay. So they show it, and it looks more like a Fallout game. So this is where the problems start.
It's the selling points.
I shit you not. The character. You can go watch the live stream. The dude walks up to a character NPC, and the crowd loses their shit. And I shit you not, on the title card after all this, the first bullet point is character NPCs. Like, that's supposed to sell me on.
So, you know what's even better? It's human NPCs, and then, the third bullet point is, fully, or, full, conversation system or whatever. It's these are the first and third of 4 bullet points for this game. A Bethesda game and a Fallout game have to advertise there's humans and there's conversation.
Not just that. Don't forget about that part. Full quest lines.
Full quest lines. Wow. Wow.
And I love it.
And the crowd cheered. This is fake. This is so fake.
It's gotta be.
It can't be real.
So, then
No
they announce,
way.
making it think it's
God.
gonna make it all better. It's free to all players. Well, it fucking better be. Because I'm not paying for fucking human NPCs.
Wow. I can't. I just.
Oh, but it gets better, Chaz.
That's such a loss for words.
About,
oh, yeah, the final big piece.
Don't forget about nuclear winter. So they have one more addition to free content for this game. As if you're not already sold already. I was in complete and utter disbelief that in 2019, we're deciding to put this into our game.
And hype about it, by the way.
Again, the crowd loses their shit.
I'm so confused.
A 52-person battle royale. You did it, guys. You did it. About 4 years too late,
now,
but you
there's
fucking
a
did
big, unique, exciting aspect of this. There are also enemies, roaming around. NPCs or mobs rolling around.
Which is okay, I guess.
That's about as exciting as it gets. You know what? I'm sorry, just gonna be honest. You know what game also did that and had 80 players in it? Was Alterac Valley in World of Warcraft in 2005. So, congratulations. It's been done.
Let me put down my cheat sheet here real quick and really talk to the Fallout 76 fans.
Are you real?
Stop supporting shit content. Stop.
It's okay to want a game to be better.
Take it from a guy who played Evolve and bought the season pass because he really liked it and just didn't want to believe it was as shitty as it was. Guess what? The game was shitty. Sure, it was fun, but it sucked in every other capacity.
Here's the reality.
Guess who doesn't play that game anymore?
Here's the reality. The harsher you hold them to it, the better they do it. For example, for the people who... Oh, by the way, my favorite thing is how Todd was like, we have the greatest community. Have you seen your subreddit?
It's cancer.
It's cancer. It is just hate after hate after hate. But here's the thing.
I wish Todd
There's
Howard...
There's a reason Fallout 76 is making progress. Those people... Now, this isn't a matter of hey, I dislike something about your game. This is look, what you sold us is unacceptable.
I think that's even putting it mildly.
But that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And there's you owe it to us to fix this. I'm happy they're making steps forward. I'm cool with them adding content in the Battle Royale. It's kind of a joke. but
at least it's content.
It's something at the end of the day. Like, not to try to play it up a little bit, but like, it's something. They're making progress. I'm glad, but it's not the time to cheer yet. The game's not done yet. It's still not done.
This Wastelanders patch is how the game should have launched.
This, unfortunately, and this is the same thing with a game like Sea of Thieves, which, by the way, was way less of an obtrusive mess than Fallout 76 was. Way better game overall. But even Sea of Thieves launched in a pretty unacceptable way. And it wasn't until the anniversary update where the game, I think, is done. It's actually releasable and playable. And now I really would recommend it. But people were still like, hey, you got to keep making progress. You got to work on it. Things don't get better until you hold people accountable for it. And they even mentioned that in one of their videos. Like, you always keep us in check, as one of the developers said.
Yeah.
Good. But, wow, some of the fanaticism was really awkward and strange. Well, anyway.
So that ends.
We can take a break away from bad things for a second.
And we get to arguably one of my favorite developers in the entire industry. The original creator of Resident Evil, Shinji Mikami. And Tango Gameworks. Now, he came out and everyone was like, oh shit, Evil Within 3, here we go.
That's what we were expecting, yeah.
Most underrated horror series in recent memory.
I've not played the second one, I played the original.
They're both fantastic.
Yeah, I love the original.
I think they're both...
Me and my college roommate played it.
I think they're both very interesting. They both handle horror very differently while also keeping it...
Yeah.
Not to rant on, but either way, I love Shinji Mikami.
Yes.
So he comes out and everyone expects another Evil Within. We're like, all right, we're in. And then he says, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yep.
And everyone's like, huh.
The hell is that?
And then we meet the most innocent little Japanese woman we ever meet in our life.
She was so cute on stage. Just seeing somebody who's clearly so nervous have to sell this game to people in front of a crowd. But I do got to give the credit. The crowd was very
receptive,
comforting for her too,
cheering her on.
Yeah, like go get it. She's clearly English is clearly not her native language, and she's clearly not used to this. I think level of speaking in front of that many people. So she did a great job overall, though.
But the game is. They said a third-person action game.
Yep.
I couldn't really tell you about what.
But so all I really have, it's an action-adventure game. There's supernatural evil going on. That's what Shinji said himself. And it's... What was her name? Her words, it's spooky. And that things are weird. And that's true.
Yeah.
But so really, it's kind of strange. It kind of is currently in a less way. But similar to like a Death Stranding kind of effect where we don't know a lot about it. They're just hinting at these little things, but basically people are disappearing and you're trying to figure out the supernatural reasons for it and help people who are stuck in this landscape in Tokyo. But you seem to be like a superhuman.
I know. The thing I kind of compared it to in my brain, I didn't say it out loud when we were watching because I was trying to like watch that and kind of take it in.
Yeah.
I looked at it as like if Fatal Frame met the Avengers. Like,
okay, that's fair. Yeah, like you really do feel like a superhuman.
Like,
yeah,
you can see these apparitions and these ghosts and these whatever they are. And you have like telekinetic abilities and like this cool butt. Like it looks interesting. Like go take a look at the trailer. But that didn't last very long. It's probably like 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
No, they were pretty quick about it.
But that looked cool. Ghostwire Tokyo, go check it out. And then we go into another community video.
Yep.
Now, I wrote this down. Felt a little forced. Because I'll be honest, it really did. Like, you had the one at the beginning. You don't need to shove it down our throat saying, we understand you and this is why we love you guys. And all it is fans talking about how much they love Bethesda, which they already did.
Felt awkward, like very self-stroking.
Which they already did.
So this is the thing, the difference between, say, the Microsoft conference and the Bethesda one, is the Microsoft conference was like, bam, 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 game, 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 world premiere, world premiere, world premiere, world premiere, constantly. Phil Spencer might come out, talk for a minute, game, game, game. Bethesda was like, game, talk a lot, game, talk a lot, game that's already out. Talk a lot. Show video. Talk a lot. Show game. Like that. It was so slow. It was like the game was second on the list to kind of. And this is probably not their intention, but it felt like the game was second to the list, and the rest was just Bethesda self-stroking themselves, like just getting themselves off. It felt really strange.
And unfortunately, this is the kind of thing that puts the fans in the mindset that they are. Because they're like, yeah, see, we are the greatest fans ever. No, you're fucking not.
It doesn't even matter. Like all that stuff is nice and fluffy, but let's just be real. right? We're all just gamers.
So
we're all just hanging out. We're all just doing our thing.
So you're good.
So are they.
So you're a good fan because you buy games even when they're shit?
Yeah, I mean, let's be real with ourselves. But anyway, so they went into Elder Scrolls Online.
Which, can I just say, what the fuck was the point of having that there?
So strange. So look, I will say this. I am so happy ESO has made its turn. It is doing fantastically right now. And games like Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, and ESO are booming right now. Booming. And that's really exciting. ESO especially has really turned itself around.
Yeah.
Cool. The new expansion is doing incredibly well. That's awesome. They do talk about Elsewhere a little bit. That's really cool. Or Elsewhere, I forget how to pronounce it. I've always pronounced it Elsewhere. But, cool. The thing was, and this is a tradition or a trend if you haven't seen from like the 3 of the 4 games we've talked about so far, that's cool. Game's already out. This content they're talking about is already out.
They did this not last year, the year before when the last expansion came out.
Morrowind.
Yeah, it was already out. And they were showed more trailers for it. And we already knew all this shit. So why bring it to E3?
Right. They also showed a cutscene that's like a part of this story cutscene or set of cutscenes. Was cool. Okay. I mean, it looked cool. They were fighting dragons and there was a Khajiit swordsman. Neato. And we got to see the necromancer a little bit. Neato. Cool. Okay. Not that exciting though. Maybe it's because I don't play the game that I'm not that excited about it, but I don't know even if a game like with WoW or Guild Wars or a game I really care about did that. Or Overwatch, I don't think I'd really care that much either.
This is probably the biggest cock tease of the whole show, right? So, I don't remember his name. He's a really nice guy, and it's like the main guy for the Elder Scrolls Online division of Bethesda. Announced that ZeniMax is actually working on a couple games for Bethesda.
Oh, yeah, real quick, sorry, before you get to that. They did, though, for ESO, I will give them credit, they did announce a new content patch coming up called Dragonhold.
And then the
solution to like the other thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, the resolution to a story. So that they did really announce something new. Like it's happening. The weird thing though is it's an MMO.
Yeah.
So the whole live service model, you just kind of like it's coming.
You just release it.
You know it's coming. So it's kind of strange.
So yeah. So then he announces that ZeniMax, who obviously publishes or produces.
No, they create.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay,
yeah, they create.
Brain.
They create ESO.
Announced that ZeniMax is working on a couple games for Bethesda. And he said, we're going to show you a brand new one now. And we're like, hell yeah, that's kind of cool. It ends up being Commander Keen, and you're like, oh shit, this is real cool. You're watching the trailer, you're getting a cool theme song, you're watching a lot of kids fucking shooting aliens with guns and shit, and you're like, this is going to be awesome.
Seems goofy as heck.
And then What's-Her-Shit comes out and says, we can't bring this to all mobile platforms. And I went, now I'm soft.
It's unfortunately a free-to-play mobile game, and then keep in mind this whole video that they show actually looks really cool. Billy and Billy are the two characters.
Yep.
They're brother and sister. It looks a lot of fun. It almost reminds me of like the style of, like, say, like Wildstar or Ratchet and Clank, like really goofy Saturday morning cartoon humor. Like they nailed it. And the girl who presented it, she kept that humor going. Like she was funny about it. But then when you drop free-to-play mobile game. And also during all this stuff, the leading into it, you don't see any gameplay yet. Then she starts talking about the game, and you see the gameplay. And wow, does it just look slow and boring and
uninteresting.
Like, it looks like Worms in all the wrong ways.
It looks like if Worms and Ice Climbers had a blind child.
Now they did show like some of the customization that in there, like the cards and some of the. There were a lot of things in there. It looked like it could have been cool with the customization.
The only thing I worry about with that is I feel like that's going to be where the money comes in. That's where all the
monetization comes in, exactly, which is going to be really annoying and really unfun.
And then the gameplay
already looks kind of boring. Like it doesn't help it in any way. So that was Commander Keen. Not a way I wanted to see it come back, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So then we go back to another game that's already out with Elder Scrolls Legends.
That's not doing great.
It's aight, whatever. But, like, again, I don't know how many times I wrote this. Cool, the game's out, and they're not announcing anything new. Well, what they said was there's a new expansion coming at the end of June.
Yeah.
What is it? Elsewhere. Okay.
Why not put that with the Elsewhere stuff?
But also, they didn't show anything on it. They showed a cool commercial which was weird but cool and way too intense for a card game because there was like dragons invading a city, and this dude was at a coffee shop. That was kind of weird. But they didn't show anything within it. Basically, there's just no joke what they said. Hey, by the way, we have a new expansion coming out in the end of June elsewhere. Check out the cards on our website.
Rad.
Like, really?
Like,
this is the place you're supposed to show it off. Not tell people to go look at it on our website. Thankfully, it didn't stay too long. I mean, the ad was around for longer than the actual announcement of it.
And then, unfortunately, we go into another game that already exists.
I know, this is such a trend.
So, Rage 2. Now, this is probably the funniest part of the conference to me. Other than probably the whole everyone jerking off to Todd Howard.
I'm going to guess it's the exact same first line I wrote.
Yeah. So, What's His Shit comes out.
Todd?
Nope.
Who was it, Todd? No, was it not Todd?
The gray-haired guy. The guy from the beginning of
the super big guy.
Yeah. He comes out and says, we're ready. He says something along the lines of, we're ready to show you what's coming next for this critically acclaimed game.
Are you talking about Rage?
Brother, what the fuck? What?
It's doing, like, average to below average.
What critically acclaimed game?
Like,
where the fuck? What reviews do you read?
Not trying to shit on Rage 2. I'm sure if it's for the price it is and what it is, we haven't played it yet. But from what, like, it looks like it could be an okay time.
My thing is, I would never play it.
Let's not call that critically acclaimed.
I wouldn't play it over something like Borderlands or like.
You're right.
Like,
also, it can't be critically acclaimed. It's doing like average to below average. Let's just be real. Like, why?
I think at Bethesda, if anything's above a 50, they're like critically acclaimed. Like, it was a success.
So basically, it was just strange to say.
All they had to say about that was they had new DLC, new paid DLC vehicles and stuff coming out, along with a new expansion.
Yeah.
Which I find funny that the expansion's coming out so soon after the game launched.
Could be fishy, unfortunately. And the only reason I think people tend to say that is because if a game feels unfinished, which a lot of the complaints are, and then they release paid content right after the fact, it like always feels a little fishy. That's what this feels like, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And now, I do want to say, because I know we've said this a couple times, that like these are games that are already out. I don't inherently think that E3 can't be about new things coming out for pre-existing franchises.
Yeah.
The thing was, at this point, we've had 2 new things talked about out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. And like, so far we're at like a quarter of the things they've talked about are new, and the rest is like stuff that's already out. I don't mean like new things for the thing already out. I mean stuff that's already out.
Yeah.
It was just to say, by the way, it is out.
Cool.
Okay. So yeah. Oh, also one thing I had a question for, because Rage 2 got a lot of crap for this to be early on, but they announced a bunch of new cheats for the expansion. Are they going to do that same thing again, where there's a bunch of cheat codes locked behind a paywall behind the expansion? They didn't clarify, and I know I might be looking too deep into that, but it's just another thing to just... Why?
Thanks for selling me cheat codes, I guess. So, we leave Rage 2 to go to a shooter that people actually give a shit about. Now, granted, it's a shooter that's already out, but they were actually talking about something new for it.
Yeah.
That we hadn't known a whole heck of a lot about other than it was coming.
I think this... So, everything we've just said, that attitude we've just had, the energy we just had, I think for the most part, we're about to flip it.
Yeah.
Like, this is where...
The last, like, 4
honestly,
things...
not to be mean, the second Bethesda Games walks off the stage and id starts taking over...
It gets better.
It got better. It really did just get better.
So... The Wolfenstein guy comes out and announces, before the expansion thing, a VR game.
Yeah.
Now, typically, I'm not too crazy about VR stuff. He recently got a VR, and we've been playing it. I mean, granted, our reach as far as it has been Beat Saber.
Because it's addicting as hell.
But with it, I think we'd be willing to try more stuff. And I'll be honest, with this Wolfenstein VR thing...
Cyberpilot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to try it. Let's be real. I'm a hacker who's hacking into Nazi tech, and killing Nazis with it.
So it looked like a little bit like a rail shooter, an arcade rail shooter.
Yeah.
Not a problem to me. I love Sin and Punishment. I love Star Fox. I love Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles. There are some really good rail shooters out there. House of the Dead. Like, I'm cool with it. It looked neat. It looked really neat. And that comes out next month, in July.
So that was cool.
So that was neat.
And then we got the rest of the information and a full, amazingly high-octane gameplay trailer for, oh god, I didn't remember.
Youngblood.
There we go.
Yeah. Also Wolfenstein.
The DLC expansion, Youngblood. Now, why I'm okay with this versus the Rage thing. Wolfenstein is established, actually critically acclaimed, and is a value for money.
It also it's been out for a little while.
Yes.
So them talking about something new is actually
the
freshly
fact that Rage
new.
2 came out like a month ago, and we're talking about an expansion for it at E3, doesn't really hit me right. That doesn't feel okay to me. But the Youngblood was announced last year. It was just announced, though. We didn't get anything crazy.
We just saw that we knew it was dealing with his daughters.
And let me just say, first off, it's co-op. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Secondly, holy shit. Like, so, like, regular Wolfenstein is pretty ridiculous as far as, like, gore and what your guns do.
Kinda
and
nutty.
It's fucking great.
It's nutty.
This just looks completely insane. Like, it was
His daughters are nuts.
It was wild.
They're nuts.
And I do like that it's not like a revenge plot. It's not like BJ's dead. He's alive. He's just been kidnapped and has been brought to France.
Yeah.
So you are killing your way to France, basically.
Yeah.
It looks awesome, and it's coming out July 26, 2019.
And also, a big thing, the gameplay as those two seems so different
Than BJ.
to BJ. It looks like the approach to the obstacles seems different. The way the interaction and the combat is very different.
I think they thought, obviously, about stature, because BJ is this, like, 6'6", hulking fucking monster, and he doesn't really hop over shit. He just, like, stumbles over shit and fucking holds two shotguns and walks real slow. No, these girls are sliding, jumping over shit, hopping on people's backs.
Yeah, so, like, the way I think of this, so Dishonored 2, you get to, I'm going to screw up the names, I apologize, but there's the female character and the male character. The male character from the first game and the female character who's, like, the major plot of this one. You can play as those two, and they play totally differently. The guy is the established character from the first game. You're way more, like, you can be way more brutal. You can you can play the tankier role, essentially. Whereas her, she plays like a ferocious animal. Like, she plays like a lion, whereas he plays like a bear. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then that's how this feels in Youngblood. Like, though they feel like they are just ripping things to shreds instead of, like, punching through heads, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to rhyme, but that was fucking right on time. So, that was my thought on Youngblood. That's my thought on Youngblood.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's about all I have for Youngblood. It comes out July 26th.
Yeah.
So that could be fun.
Yeah. So then we move to Arcane Studios. Now, Dishonored. They made Dishonored.
Yeah.
They helped with Youngblood, so they came out and they were announcing a new IP.
Yes.
Funny enough, we're gonna backtrack to the Microsoft conference and talk about 12 minutes for a second. So 12 minutes we thought was cool because it was really unique and it used this time loop mechanic where everything just seems tied to how you're going to experience everything within this
12-minute
structure.
Yeah.
Funny enough, this game also does that.
It's funny. It is funny that we got two.
It's called Deathloop, and it focuses around two characters, a male and a female character. I'm assuming you're going to be able to play as both, or be able to choose which one you play as.
I'm curious to see how they interact with that as well.
I don't know. We don't know quite details. We got a cinematic trailer that just kind of showed that there is this looping mechanic every time you die.
And there is this, they both are representing two different ideologies, and each of them essentially believe their side is freedom and the opposite side is imprisonment.
Yeah.
And I really like that kind of neat dichotomy between those two ideologies, that, like, you always think you're the good guy.
Yeah.
Even the people who we perceive as wicked evil, they think they're doing the right thing.
Now, the only thing I don't want to happen with this game, and obviously it's very early, they just announced it. I'm going to use the example of Dream Drop Distance from Kingdom Hearts. I don't want the Deathloop mechanic, like the coming back mechanics, to kind of like overstay its welcome, like the dropping does in Kingdom Hearts.
It can get convoluted fast.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I want there to be not so much like a 12-minute scenario where you know it's going to happen a lot. I want Deathloop to handle it from purely a story standpoint, as far as when you die, it's because there's something else you've either figured out or something that you're going to have a revelation about when you come back.
Yeah, see, the difference between 12 minutes and Deathloop, as far as like what my concerns are or not, is 12 minutes is a very concise, very confined area to play in. So that way you're not worried about the convolution because your realm, the playground you're in, is very small.
And that's how you're learning.
Deathloop, though, is a much more open, broad spectrum. So there's a lot more variables that can easily become just a mess.
Yeah.
That's my concern with Deathloop. But it does look cool, and Arcane has made some really great stuff.
It's also funny to watch French guys say fuck. Like
twice.
But that was that. Next was actually something I wasn't expecting. I probably should expect it, because it's kind of like becoming the uptrend now with the Game Pass and Stadia and PlayStation's new thing.
Yep.
So, id Software and Bethesda announced a partnership to create this new streaming cloud technology called Orion.
Yeah.
He's can probably explain it better than me. I don't quite understand how it differs. Mainly because I was at that point I was just ready for this fucking conference to be over and I wasn't really paying attention.
Well, at this point, the only thing people were mostly we at this point had realized Bethesda's not going to announce new stuff.
We're just waiting for Doom.
Yeah. We've established that probably Deathloop was the last new thing they were going to announce.
Yeah, so
essentially the only real difference is, xCloud and Stadia, he kind of mentioned it himself, Robert Duffy kind of mentioned it himself. The Stadia and xCloud are hardware solutions to streaming.
Yeah.
Orion is a software solution to streaming. So the thing that was weird about Orion is actually this was more for developers than consumers.
Yeah.
The second you start dropping phrases like SDK, consumers don't care about a development.
It's like talking about a teraflop.
Well, but we actually know what SDK is, though.
I don't know what SDK is.
It's a software development kit.
Okay.
So, essentially, when you start throwing out,
an SDK is.
Yeah, so when you start throwing around SDK, it's like, that's clearly for developers, a thing to work in, an API to work with, etc. Essentially, what Orion does is allows you to build your game engine in association with Orion, which will optimize the bandwidth travel to Stadia and xCloud, these streaming platforms. And what he had said was that there was this number is probably in a very consolidated, confined environment, but his claim was 20%.
Yeah.
A 20% optimization per frame.
Yeah.
That's a huge bandwidth change, which is great if this is true.
Yeah,
because
we're gonna
that's
hope
the
so.
biggest thing with cloud streaming right now is bandwidth. And if people can work with this, that'd be awesome. The problem is, if this is new, not many people really have Orion to work with.
No.
So the first year of games, we're probably not going to see it outside maybe Doom Eternal if it's on a streaming platform, because it's id and they probably used Doom or Wolfenstein as a basis for it. But it's not really for gamers. Well, it's for gamers. We'll get something out of it. Hey, gamers, we'll get something cool.
Excuse me, fuck.
We'll get the cool result.
Yeah.
Orion's not really for us to be paying attention to, though. And then finally, we got to the thing that they keep talking about, and they've shown a couple things over the past year, which is finally Doom Eternal.
I'm gonna hand you my sheet, and I want you to read what I wrote.
Doom Eternal. Holy motherfuck! November 22nd, 2019. No, it actually looked really cool.
Fucking amazing.
Everything about it was really great.
So,
a couple things I just wanted to note. There's a giant sword that he has at one point that you're wielding. A great sword that's spreading out.
And it looks...
That was cool. I had a quad minigun. Fucking holding this thing has 4 minigun barrels out of it. That was insane. So one of the cool things... I know, so now we're the Doom mode. Doom, the only way you could talk about Doom is to just be ridiculous.
Yeah.
The way they utilized the environment in these scenarios was way more interesting. And they first showed it in one of they kind of split it. There was the trailer, hey, Doom. And then they came out and talked a bit about Doom for way too fucking long. And then they showed gameplay for Doom.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, too. As much as I'm excited for Doom Eternal, we know what it's gonna be. We just want to see your iteration upon it. We don't need to know. Yes, we've made Doom better. Yes, we've done more. Yes, we're making Doom.
That's expected
we know.
of you.
Just show us the game. You know, and if it was really, again, kind of the trends to the Bethesda thing versus Microsoft so far. God, they just kept talking. Even about something that we were excited about, we're just like, shut up.
And show me the
game.
Fucking game.
So, but they did. They eventually did. And the way they showed the environment interaction was so... it was better than 2016. The level they showed is far more advanced and far more interesting and colorful and dynamic than anything in 2016. It was really good.
Doom reboot from 2016 is very clearly... They were keeping it safe... Just making Doom, but making it modern.
Can we do it right?
This is the perfect amount of iteration upon what Doom as a franchise can be. And
they've realized we can do it.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It all looked... And of course, the end of the thing, you gotta show the BFG. Like, it's just...
They did. They now... This little right there, you heard it rev up... And then they cut to black, obviously. Just they don't. I'm sure there's a twist to it. They always do something with the BFG.
Yeah.
So. But they did it. And so some of the things I put too. The new style kills are they're really great.
Oh, they're
visceral as hell.
Brutal. Oh my god.
The one they showed twice of the dude, you rip his heart. You have the knife on your fucking or the chainsaw on your wrist, jab it into the thing's heart, shove it down his throat. You were saying something about an eye.
Yeah,
I was writing something down.
One of the brain creatures, one of the little brain spider creatures, he breaks its leg off and he shoves it into its eye. One that I liked is he literally takes a dude's arm and he breaks it this way and he shoves it into oh my god.
This is brutal.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but the platforming looks way better, looks way more interesting. And then the one thing though, the collector's edition. I wrote down because most collector's editions look terrible. This one looked cool.
Yeah, it looked pretty neat.
The helmet is goofy, and I would never get it, and I would never wear it. But I know for people who love those trophies, those toys, it would be great. And the fact that you can actually wear it is
amazing,
neat for those people.
Yeah,
100%. But they fucked up. They showed it on a console.
They did.
They fucking showed Doom on a console. You fucking heathens. I can say the F word twice too, and I'm not even French. No, I couldn't believe it though. But it was funny. Randy pointed out. We're talking 5 seconds in. The way he starts, he walks like 2 steps, and he turns to a terminal, and it's just, yeah, that's a controller. It's Doom. You don't show Doom on a console.
I think when they show it off at more, they said they're going to bring it to QuakeCon. They're going to show more at QuakeCon. I'd be willing to bet at QuakeCon.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be demoed on a PC.
It's QuakeCon.
It better be.
Yeah. The one big thing though we did get was a release date.
November 22nd.
Yes.
Thank God.
So it's happening this year, which is good.
The only other thing they mentioned is they revamped the multiplayer.
Yes, I have it.
So basically, Doom 1's multiplayer wasn't bad. It just was way too par for the course. It felt unneeded. There was nothing about it that screamed, oh, I need to play that, other than like when you pick up one of the demon relics and you can become a demon for a little bit until you're killed. That was kind of fun.
It was neato, but the only thing was that was done in like BioShock 2.
Funny enough, the thing they expounded upon was that.
Yeah.
So basically the way this new battle mode works is it's one soldier versus 2 monsters controlled by other players, and that's your multiplayer.
Well, it's one of the modes.
One of the
modes.
The one they showed off anyway. And it looked really fucking cool.
Yeah, the best way I could think about it is it was like Titanfall 2, where there's also little demons running around.
NPCs.
And Titanfall 2 meets Evolve with the whole hunting the monster, except this time there's more monsters than there are hunters.
Yeah. So
it's just the 2 demons versus the Slayer.
Yeah.
And it looked fun, actually. And the thing that I like about the 3-player, they probably could have done it with 4-player, maybe 5-player, but keeping the number down allows you a lot of control over the balance, which means you can make these characters, you can give people some really crazy stuff. You don't have to be afraid to give someone a BFG. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can do something nuts because you can bounce around it because there's such a small number to work with. And honestly, thank God it's not a Battle Royale mode. Like, I'm just still so sick of seeing them. So, I'm glad they did something interesting and unique and new instead of just, here's another Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And And that was it.
Wow.
So the end was great. The back half was fantastic. But God, did that first half suck.
I'd say like a back quarter. The first like 3 quarters of that was just, it was either unnecessary, completely irrelevant, or not exciting in any capacity. And anyone who tries to defend it, you either have Bethesda so deep down your throat that you don't even care. As long as it's Bethesda showing it, that's what makes you happy, which, fine if you want to live your life like that. Or you just take any game announcement as is and you're like, that's pretty fucking cool.
It was strange. It genuinely was strange.
Bethesda either needs to cut these conferences down. I feel like had this been shorter, I probably wouldn't have minded it as much. But this thing was longer than the Microsoft conference.
When you had said it was almost at 2 hours...
It was an hour and 45 minutes.
It felt like it dragged.
It just, like, cut it down by like 40. Make it an hour. Make it 45 minutes, and just make it seem like you're showing a lot in that amount of time. When really what you're doing is showing all that superfluous shit anyway. But at least it goes by quick.
Thankfully, they didn't do anything super weird this year with like the concert and all that stuff. Really strange.
Yeah.
It was at least alright. So as far as that goes.
So as far as ratings are concerned, what would you give the Bethesda conference for a grade?
I would give the Bethesda conference A. Todd Howard's broken promises out of id seriously is carrying Bethesda right now. What?
How the fuck you gotta do that?
No, I'm giving it I was gonna give it a D+, to be completely honest. But I'm gonna give it a C-, strictly because id.
Yeah.
The thing is, if this was the Bethesda thing, honest to God, it would have been one of the worst conferences I would have ever seen. If this was just the first half, it would have been a complete waste of my time. I would have been actually upset that I sat down to watch your shitty conference. But id actually carried that. But the problem is, and the only reason I don't give it higher, is because the things that id did to carry it, like 2 of the 4, outside Ghostwire, which isn't id, but outside Ghostwire, which was great. It looked interesting enough. But Youngblood, we've already known about. Doom Eternal, we've already known about. Orion isn't for us.
Yeah.
So of the 4 things id really did, 2 of which we already knew about, 1 of which isn't for us, and the last one is Deathloop. So we did have those things. We only really had 1 new thing to show at us. So that's why I didn't give it higher, even though if this was just the id section, honestly, I probably would have given it like a B. It's again, mostly because it's not new stuff, but it was all good.
Yeah.
It was all interesting and engaging.
Yeah. So I went a little higher than you. I gave it a C. And literally the only reason I did is id.
Id?
Like, even though I knew about Doom and the Wolfenstein stuff, it still carried it above Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Blades, Elder Scrolls Legends, Fallout Shelter. It carried it.
Yeah, they brought up Shelter again.
Under 50 million players. I bet that's not...
It literally, too, was like, oh yeah, in Fallout Shelter, we got 150 million downloads. Next. And you're like, why did you drop that in there? Like, who was that for?
But...
So yeah, honestly, what a weird one.
I think Bethesda going forward either needs to just not do a conference or shorten it.
Yeah, immensely. Do the Nintendo thing and just consolidate that down, trim that fat.
Or
it was so strange.
Or go the Devolver Digital route and just barely even talk and just show trailers, basically.
Just be like, hey, but yeah, here's a bunch of stuff.
Like,
yeah, we'll see how that goes. The Devolver Digital thing is happening, I think, or just about to happen as the time we're recording this, right after the Bethesda one.
But we have work in the morning.
We might talk about it in the morning. It depends what they show, or we'll just like kind of do a quick one.
Yeah.
But that's Bethesda. Overall, not impressed.
No.
Outside id, to Bethesda and ZeniMax, you didn't do anything to interest me. To Shinji Mikami, looks interesting. To id, keep up the good work. You guys are seriously carrying
Bethesda.
Yeah, you really are.
Well, that's gonna
to
do.
ZeniMax, keep up ESO. You guys are okay. You guys are making a good game. Thank you.
So that's gonna wrap up Bethesda. We're gonna be back probably tomorrow. Because we have to go to bed and go to work in the morning. We'll be back tomorrow.
We have Ubisoft and Square.
I don't remember Square. I don't.
Square might be Tuesday.
Yes, think
Anyway.
Square is the same day as Nintendo.
Yeah, but yeah. So thank you for watching. We'll see you guys later. God, Bethesda, you just stop it.
Just give it to id.